American television sitcom Malcolm and Eddie premiered on UPN on August 26, 1996, and ran for 4 seasons, airing its final episode on May 22, 2000. It was created by comedian turned TV writer and producer Joel Madison, and produced by Jeff Franklin Productions in association with TriStar Television in its first 3 seasons, and by Columbia TriStar Television in its final season. The theme music, called The World Is Ours, was actually composed by both Malcolm and Eddie, along with keyboardist, composer, singer-songwriter, and record producer George Duke. It was performed by singer-songwriter Vesta Williams. Here's Malcolm telling the story of how the show came about in his interview with TelevisionAcademy.com.
Malcolm and Eddie was what's called a package deal. When you're with an agency, a big agency that represents actors and directors and producers, if the agency can do a package deal where their client is the producer / writer and their client, are the lead actors, then they get a package deal fee. And the thing that's great for the clients is you don't pay the agent that 10% because they get their money from the package. So basically, they had a writer, they had Eddie Griffin, and somebody came up with the bright idea of let's do a '90s urban odd couple. So we have Eddie Griffin. Who else do we have in our roster that would be the Felix Unger character? And we met, and that's really how that show came about.
The show focuses on the friendship between two 20-something men. Malcolm McGee, played by Cosby Show alum Malcolm-Jamal Warner, is a responsible, aspiring sports commentator. He ends up sharing an apartment and a business venture with fast-talking, penniless tow truck owner Eddie Sherman, played by stand-up comedian Eddie Griffin. Fun fact, Kansas City, Missouri, where the show takes place, is also Eddie Griffin's hometown. When the guys come into a large sum of money courtesy of a lottery win, they decided to buy not only the old Irish pub below their apartment, but the entire building, including Eddie's garage, as an investment. There, they hang out with local regulars, including Tim, a nurse played by Jamie Carricci, and Nicolette, a police academy cadet played by Karen Molina White. Voice and character actress Miriam Flynn also played the role of Kelly in 6 episodes of the first season. In the fall of 1998, Jamie filed a $5 million breach of contract lawsuit against the show's producers for firing him, and further charged producers with negligently hiring someone who had issues keeping his hands to himself. In the complaint filed in LA Superior Court, Jamie asserted he was given a 6-year contract in 1996 by Sony Pictures Entertainment Inc., Columbia TriStar Television Inc., and Montrose Productions, but was fired after the 3rd season, allegedly as a result of complaining about the work environment. The lawsuit claimed the producers also hired A.J. Johnson to work on the series, despite allegedly knowing that he'd been fired from another UPN show because of his, quote, propensity to commit violent acts, end quote. A.J., who was also named a defendant for assaulting and battering Jamie, was openly abusive toward the plaintiff for weeks, according to the suit. In addition, the suit claimed that during filming of one episode of the series in September 1997, A.J. hit Jamie in the head with a chair, pointed a gun at him, and threatened to end his life. While Karen's character had the hots for Eddie's character, in real life, Karen and Malcolm were dating during the taping of the show.
I started out as friends. I mean, of course I knew him from Cosby Show, but I think we're 7 years apart, 6 or 7. So when he was on Cosby Show, he was like a little boy. I didn't pay him any mind. But as we got older, numbers that feel like they're closer in age. But that was kind of, I never really dated. I always wound up dating somebody that I was working with. So you'd be friends, and then next thing you know, okay, so what we doing? So that's how that kind of evolved. But yeah, we were always good friends. His character, and he always had a girlfriend, so women, so that was a little bit, get my feathers ruffled.
Was there a rule behind that? Like, hey, could he kiss the other women?
Yeah, that's his job. He had to. That was his job. So it was, you got to do your own personal work, but it wasn't the easiest situation. but we made it work.
She told Comedy Hype in 2022 that she didn't even have to audition for her role. It was just offered to her and she took it. Simultaneously, she was working on a play. So between the play and Malcolm and Eddie, she was living the dream and making more money than she'd ever made before. By the time the third season came around, though, things started to go left. So much so that Karen almost lost her job.
By season 3, I think we did 4 seasons. By season 3, they wanted to change it up. They wanted to add some white guys. They wanted to demote me. I was dating Malcolm-Jamal Warner at the time, and he was like, I can't go home and tell my girlfriend she's fired. So they had to compromise in the amount of episodes I got. And then I had to kind of prove myself again that I was, worthy to be on the show. So it started out like this and then dipped and then went back up, so.
That third season also saw the introduction of new main cast member Christopher Daniel Barnes as Leonard. He stuck around for the 4th and final season too. As the years have gone by, Malcolm especially has been candid about not enjoying his experience on the show. He spoke all about it to Sway in the Morning in 2018.
That was a pretty miserable time in my life.
Okay.
Because I had gone from, just everything that Cosby had represented, and I had come from a show that made history, that showed that black people could be funny without being stereotypical. And then I got over to UPN, where all of UPN's programming was, stereotypical, you pick a nigga. Yeah. So it was, for me, it was like going from a top university to junior college. Because I'm saying, look, we can actually be funny without doing the stereotypical stuff. And no one was really interested in that route. They're like, we didn't bring you over here for that. This is what we do. And it was kind of like being stuck in, really trying to just raise the bar a little bit, because everything on that network at the time was the antithesis of, what my experience had been. So it had been, really frustrating, like fighting with, network and studio and producers and writers and fellow actors. It was rough.
Eddie said the same thing to Vlad in 2015. He also revealed that among the dozen or so writers, only 2 were black. As a result, the scripts were always off base as far as accurately capturing the life of a young black man in the 90s. That forced the 2 leads to tweak things to make it work, all without receiving any writing credit, of course. Not only did Malcolm and Eddie butt heads with the writers, producers, the studio, and the network, they also butted heads with each other.
Me and Eddie really did not get along.
In real life?
In real life.
I did not know this.
Yeah. Like we didn't get. But every single week before taping, we'd come together, we'd put our hands together, we'd bow, and we'd pray before we go out there.
Why y'all didn't get along?
Just different schools of life.
Yeah.
Different schools of life, and we were, we're still cool when we see each other, but it wasn't like we weren't necessarily best friends.
Okay.
But we understood that check.
Yeah.
And we understood that you can, work together and still have respect, but don't necessarily have to, love each other while you're making dough.
So what was the motivation to keep going for 4 seasons?
What made me hang on and stay was in sitcom at that time, there was something called the Sweet 100. And if you get a series that can go 100 episodes, you get this awesome syndication deal.
Unfortunately, they ended up coming up 11 episodes short. Jamie Card-Ritchie passed away on July 28, 2000, from complications during gallbladder surgery at Torrance Memorial Hospital in Torrance, California. He was 32 years old. In 2009, Shout Factory released the first season of the show on DVD in North America. Currently, Malcolm and Eddie can be seen on Tubi, Amazon Prime, and YouTube channel Throwback TV.